It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Fox Sports Net 2 presents the Dodgers as they take on the Montreal Expos. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday night to you, wherever you may be. The Expos are in town. Last year, they beat the Dodgers 4 out of 6. This will be our first look at a vastly improved ball club with Frank Robinson at the helm. For the Dodgers, as you probably know, the drought continues in Southern California, and the drought certainly continues here at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers, with one run in their last 26 innings, have spoiled a lot of wonderful pitching for the Dodgers. They remain 3.5 games behind San Francisco. Tonight, they give the ball to Kevin Brown, who has not really had a lot of luck against Montreal. He is 4-4. Oka, we saw very briefly last year, went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs and no decision. He has won his last 2 starts. So the Expos come in. They were in first place for a while until they had a 6-game losing streak. Talking about streaks, the Expos, having just been swept by San Diego, have lost 7 straight on the road. We'll get to the starting lineups. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. Fox Sports Net 2 presents Dodger Baseball, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. By Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? By Nissan Driven, and by K-Swiss. Welcome to Los Angeles, and in particular, welcome to Dodger Stadium, Game 1 of a 4-game weekend series with the Montreal Expos. Last year, the Expos beat the Dodgers 4 out of 6, and they are a vastly improved club under the guidance of Frank Robinson. Montreal coming in 2020. They're a 500 ball club for the moment, but at one time, not too many days ago, they were in first place leading by 3 in the Eastern Division. Here's the way they'll stack up tonight against Kevin Brown. The Expos, having played an extra inning game and swept by San Diego, will have Brad Wilkerson in center field, Jose Vidro at second base, probably the best all-around ball player in the league, Vladimir Guerrero in right field, Lee Stevens at first base, Orlando Cabrera the shortstop, Fernando Tatis at third, Troy O'Leary in left field, Brian Schneider behind the plate, and Tomo Oka on the mound. The exchange of lineup cards at home plate, Frank Robinson, who played for the Dodgers 30 years ago in 1972. The same Frank Robinson who was on base the opening game here. He went 1 for 4, and Frank was aboard when Wally Post hit the home run between the flagpoles in center field, and the Reds beat the Dodgers in the very first game here. So it's good to see Frank back, and we'll take a look now at the ball club for the Dodgers that will contend against him. First of all, a shakeup at the very top. Alex Cora will take over for Itsuris at shortstop. It'll be his first leadoff start this year. Adrian Beltre batting second at third base. Sean Green in right field. Paul LaDuca continues to hit cleanup. Eric Karros at first base. Mark Grasolanik at second. Marquise Grissom will bat seventh. Iram Bocachica is back in the starting lineup. Brian Jordan can't answer the bell, so Bocachica in left field. And on the mound, Kevin Brown. So the Dodgers, 4 games above 500, 3.5 games behind the Giants, trying to get well against the Expos. And we'll be back right after this. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Game 1 of the 4-game series, the Dodgers and the Montreal Expos. The Expos gave the Dodgers a bad time last year. They won 2 out of 3 here at Dodger Stadium, and they won 2 out of 3 at Olympic Stadium to wind up winning 4 of the 6. The Expos come in 2 games behind Florida in third place, led by Vladimir Guerrero, who is having a marvelous year. Every time you look up, you see the name Guerrero in so many offensive categories, and one of the remarkable moments tonight, of course, will be when Guerrero checks in at home plate and goes up against Kevin Brown. After all, Vladimir Guerrero was second in runs batted in, first in multi-hit games, fifth in batting average, second in hits, first in total bases. He is fifth in runs scored, and on it goes. So that will be an individual battle during the war. Kevin Brown, meanwhile, tuning up with a 4-4 record against Montreal. As you know, Kevin Brown started off on a wobbly note this year. The Giants chased him in 4 innings with 7 earned runs. But after that, in his last 5 outings, he has been his dominating self. Since April the 7th, his earned run average is 1.6. The league is hitting 198 against him, and the ratio is better than 3-1, 7 walks and 25 strikeouts. One thing about Kevin, however, he has dominated the left-hand batters, but right-hand hitters have hit over 300 against him. And we'll see how he goes tonight. He'll be facing Wilkerson, then Vidro, and Guerrero. Looking at the leather behind Kevin Brown, the Dodgers stack up with Eric Karros, Mark Grasolonic. Then you have Alex Cora, Adrian Beltre, Iram Boca Chica, Marquis Grissom, and Sean Green. Dodger team has done very well defensively, and Eric Karros has committed just 1 error so far this year. Cesar Izturis gets a chance to rest. Dave Roberts is still banged up sitting alongside of him, and so is Brian Jordan. And talking about being banged up, the Dodgers put Jesse Orozco in the 15-day disabled list, and they have called up the young right-hander who was with Montreal, Guillermo Mota. So we're about ready to get this underway. And Brad Wilkinson will start it off, hitting .254. A kid who played center field on the Olympic team and takes a strike in the count 0-1. He's hit in 5 of his last 8 games and made his big league debut just a couple of days ago in San Diego. Wilkinson got a little ink, not anything he really did, but in a game in Montreal, he fouled a ball back and shattered all the glass behind home plate. That's the second or third time that's happened up there. So 1-1 the count to Wilkerson. He is taking the place of Peter Bergeron, who was a disappointment and was sent down. Wilkerson takes a strike, and the count 1-2. He's out of Kentucky and lives in Owensboro. He played center field for the U.S. gold medal team of the Olympics in Australia, and he hits a hopper, juggled but knocked down by Karras, who feeds Brown coming over. When you are desperate, it is time for desperate measures, and what the Dodgers are doing tonight, every man out there, with the exception of Kevin Brown, has the pants tucked in at the knee. So you see a lot of blue stockings tonight, and we'll see if that works. It is something they have done in the past. So everyone but Brown. Now the batter is Jose Vidro, and Vidro, such an important part of the Montreal attack, hitting .319. He takes a strike and the count 0-1. Back on May the 11th, just a couple of days ago, Vidro was hitting .441 with runners in scoring position. Brown comes back with a fastball on the outside corner, so Vidro up there with the count 0-2. Vidro, third in the league with multi-hit games, 16. He is fifth in the league, hitting just under .350 on the road. He had a 13-game streak earlier. He's working on an 11-game streak now. He grounds to Beltre, who proceeds to throw it away. And Vidro on his way into second base easily. Ball retrieved by Green. A routine play, and Beltre just sailed it down the right field line. Karras unable to handle it. And for Beltre, his 5th error. The Dodgers now have committed 22. So a low, bad throw. Karras never had a chance. And now with Vidro at second base on the error charge to Beltre, here comes the big guy, Vladimir Guerrero. You could never stop talking about Vladimir Guerrero. You could have a show that would start 2 hours before game time, and you'd keep going. Hitting .346, 12 home runs, 38 runs batted in. How good is he really? Well, he's batting .550 against Kevin Brown. So Vladimir Guerrero, the big right-hand hitter, and they have put a nickname on him. It doesn't really figure, but nevertheless, they have pinned it, his teammates. the dinosaur. The Guerrero waiting. Brown out of a stretch, a look back at second, comes to Vladimir down and away, ball one, and the count 1-0. Interesting too how Guerrero has progressed. He's hitting .325 against right-hand batters from the last 3 years right up to now. He backs away a pitch at the knees, ball two, 2-0. When he was leading the National League against right-handed batters, no right-hand batter boasts a better average against right-hand pitchers than Guerrero. So Vladimir waiting, and the 2-0 pitch on the way. Brown ready and deals, and there's a high fly ball. Never mind, it's gone. There's no doubt about it. He hit it over the center field wall just to the right of the bleachers, and Brown belongs to Vladimir Guerrero. So Guerrero takes him downtown. That's the second home run, 10 RBIs that he has with a man aboard. So the error is immediately cashed in, and Vladimir Guerrero drives it out.
Fourth, number 9, first baseman.
That'll bring up Lee Stevens. It is interesting too, really, that Brown gave him anything to hit, and for that matter, it might have not been what he intended to do. It was 2 balls and no strikes. Brown ready now. Stevens swings, and a fly ball to left, but this one is playable. Boca Chica comes in to make the catch, and that's the second out. So 2-0 in favor of the Expos. A big grin in the Montreal dugout for Vladimir Guerrero, his 13th home run of the year. What a remarkable player. We would heartily recommend and suggest you come out certainly between now and Sunday to see one of the outstanding players in the major leagues, Vladimir Guerrero. So 2-0 in favor of Montreal, and I'm sure you know the Dodgers have really struggled and already down by 2. And the pitch is high and inside to Orlando Cabrera. A Gold Glove last year, and he hit .391 against the Dodgers. Had a double play ball go through his legs last night, and it eventually cost Montreal a 1-0 victory. Cabrera hitting .250. He has 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Brown shocked to his toes right now as he walks around the mound. Cabrera, 27 years old, and the 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball sprayed foul into the seats down the right field line, and the count 1-2. So Orlando Cabrera going up against Kevin Brown in the first inning. The error by Beltre and a home run by Guerrero. Now the 1-2 pitch. Fastball poked up along first base to Karras, takes it to the bag, and that's the inning. But the inning belongs to Vladimir Guerrero, a 2-run home run. So bring him up to date. He now has 13 home runs, 40 RBIs, and the Expos lead 2-0. Montreal takes a 2-0 lead thanks to a first inning error by Beltre and a 2-run home run by Vladimir Guerrero. So the Dodgers now try to come back. Down 2-0 doesn't seem like much, but for the Dodgers it spells a lot of trouble. They have failed to score 3 runs or more 23 times already this year, and 14 times in the last 15 games. So Tomoka is hoping to catch them on yet another cold night. He's won his last 2 starting decisions. This would be his 8th start. He was acquired from the Red Sox. There had one time last in July. Montreal had 3 Japanese pitchers, Hideki Arabu and Masato Yoshii. Yoshii is still with the club. So Tomoka ready to go. Born in Kyoto, Japan, and Hideo Nomo watching his move. Right-handed deals, and the first pitch of the leadoff man Cora, and it's in for a strike. 0-1. Alex Cora batting .320 and getting a chance to start. Oka turns, comes right back, and drops a forkball on the outside corner, and the count 0-2. Tomooka has, they say, an average fastball, but it does have some late sink. But he gave up 15 home runs last year. Fastball, a half swing, dropped at the plate, picked up by Schneider, and he throws Cora out. So one away as Brian Schneider makes the play. Talking about Schneider, let's take a look at those fellows behind Tomooka. And it'll be Lee Stevens at first, Jose Vidro, Orlando Cabrera, and Fernando Tatis on the infield. Troy O'Leary, Brad Wilkerson, and Vladimir Guerrero in right, with Brian Schneider behind the plate. Couple of guns out there in the outfield. Wilkerson and Guerrero each have 7 assists. And the pitch now to the number 2 hitter, Beltre, and that's a strike. 0-1. Show you how things have really soured here. The strike 1 pitch is low. The Dodgers 1 run in the last 26 innings, and they have been retired in order in 17 of the last 31 innings. Here's the 1-1 pitch, waved at and missed. 1-2. The Dodgers 15th in the National League in home runs, so it has been a struggle. The 1-2 pitch on the way, and Beltre hits in the air to shallow center. Wilkerson on the dead run, dives, can't make the play. Backed up by Guerrero, who throws in too late. So Wilkerson had a chance, couldn't do it. And Beltre at second with a fly ball double. That'll bring up Sean Green.
Right fielder, Sean Green.
Wilkerson looked like he was going to make the play and really just missed it. But of course he had to make a dive, so it'll go as a base hit. So now the struggling Sean Green, hitting .240. He has struck out more times than he has base hits, and of course that's tough, and especially if you have not hit a lot of home runs. Oka's first pitch is low, ball 1. I mean, if you strike out 39 times in 39-40 games, that'll be okay if you had a dozen home runs. In fact, that's another amazing thing about Vladimir Guerrero. He has 13 home runs. He has struck out 17 times. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Sean, and he looks at a pitch low, and they count 2 balls and no strikes. So Guerrero arrived with some fanfare and immediately is center stage. 2-0 Montreal in the first inning. Sean Green waiting. Tomooka set at the belt. Another look back at Beltre, and a breaking ball is whacked foul down the right field line, skips up into the seats, and the count 2-1. One of the maddening things for Sean Green so far this year, and after all, he's only played 40 games, the fact that he has grounded into 11 double plays, and 10 of them have come when Green is either even or ahead in the count. Only once this year, when the count was 0-2, did he hit into a double play. Now the 2-1 pitch on the way, just off the corner, ball 3. On deck, Paul LaDuca. So Tomooka from Kyoto, a charming city in Japan. It was the old capital before Tokyo. Now the 3-1 pitch on the way. Oka ready, deals, swung on and fouled off, and the count 3-2. That was a pretty good changeup by Oka, about 80. He is not a strong man, apparently, even though he is 6'1" and 180. So far this year, Oka has started 7 games, relieved once, but he hasn't really averaged 5 innings interference. And last year, that was one of his problems. The pitch to Green is taken low, ball 4. So a fly ball double and a walk, and that'll bring up Paul LaDuca.
Batting fourth, number 16.
LaDuca hitting in the cleanup spot, and that is a story all by itself. He has been most productive when he's hitting in the 3rd slot in the batting order. When Paul LaDuca was batting 3rd, he was hitting .330. Anywhere else in the lineup, he has hit only .205. So Green at first, Beltre at second with 1 out. and LaDuca waiting. And the first pitch to Paul is hit in the air to right field. Guerrero is there. There'll be no tagging up as he just fires the ball into second. So LaDuca didn't hang around very long. Fly ball to right. And with 2 out, the batter will be Eric Karros.
Eric Harris.
Eric Karros last year against Tomooka was 0 for 2. So Karros hitting .290 and trying to pick somebody up. He has Beltre at second and Green at first. Eric 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Oka hands it aside, looking to Brian Schneider. Michael Barrett figured to be the catcher, but he's a little worn out. High breaking ball, but dipped in for a strike, and the count 0-1. After playing 13 innings last night and finally being rested, so Barrett cools his heels in the dugout, hitting .324. 0-1 the count. Oka out of a stretch, a quick look back at Adrian Beltre, and the strike one pitch hit in the air down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play, and the count 0-2. Shawn Green at first base, and if you wonder about his troubles hitting, all you have to do is look at the back of his left hand. He doesn't have it wrapped anymore. Heavy swelling from where he was hit by Tommy Glavine, and that's a few days ago. Beltre away from second. 0-2 the count. Fastball is low, ball 1, 1-2. Fastball doesn't get above 90 very often, and that was right at it. Beltre with a fly ball double. Green walked, and with 2 out, the 1-2 pitch to Eric Karros. Fastball hit into left field, base hit. Beltre was almost knocked down by Fernando Tatis, and had he been thrown out at the plate, believe me, he would have been allowed to score. And immediately the third base umpire Ron Kulpa pointed at Tatis as if to say, oh no, that was obstruction. You were trying to prevent Beltre from scoring. Of course, it's an old maneuver. Watch this. Watch Tatis now, right there, and watch the umpire. See him point at Tatis. And that play is history, and it's 2-1 Montreal, and the batter will be Mark Grasolani. So Karros, a base hit and a run batted in, and a fly ball that might very well have been caught is cashed in. So here now is Grasolani. Oka said a look at the runners, and the first one over for a strike. So Montreal got an extra run because of Beltre's error. And then the Dodgers get a run when Beltre's fly ball might very well have been caught by Wilkinson, but wasn't. Kevin Brown, meanwhile, gave up the difference, the home run to Vladimir Guerrero. Strike one fastball is on the hands and foul back. And the count 0-2. So that was great location by Tomokazu Oka. Burning one in on the knuckles. Grasolani fighting it off. 0-2. Oka trying to get out of the inning. Runners taking their leads. Green at second. Karros at first. Grasolani takes low and inside. And the count 1-2. So Beltre's already had a rougher. He's thrown a ball away. Then got himself the pop fly double. Then almost collided with Fernando Tatis. But he's made it back to the safety of the dugout. The 1-2 pitch to Grasolani down and away. Ball 2. 2-2. Frank Robinson. Boy, it is hard to believe 30 years have flown by since Frank played for the Dodgers. He had one of the most unbelievable careers any single man ever had. And if you'd like to know more about him, you can watch the Dodger Dugout show on UPN 13 on Sunday. The 2-2 pitch foul back. Rattling around amongst the customers. Robinson, for instance, the only man to ever win most valuable player in both leagues. And he was blessed with a tremendous body because he played 21 years. He's something. 2-2 the count to Mark Grasolonic. Out of his stretch goes Oka. The right-handed delivers, and that's fouled away. Oka with a good curveball, a changeup, an average fastball, and a little forkball, which he uses sparingly. Last year, right-hand batters hit a dozen home runs, lefties 3. Green is at second, and Karras at first with 2 out. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. The deuce is wild here in the first inning. Oka delivers, fastball fouled away. So Grasolonic hanging tough. So the Dodgers, who had scored 1 run in the last 26 innings, nudge one across here in the first inning as it was carried in by Adrian Beltre. Eric Karras knocked him in with a single, but in all honesty, a better center fielder would have caught the ball that Beltre hit. 2-2 the count to Mark Grasolonic. So Wilkerson staring in from his spot in center. Green taking a pretty good lead at second. A look back by Oka, and the 2-2 pitch. Fastball, a comebacker, smothered by Oka, who throws him out. So the Dodgers get 1 run, 2 hits, plus a walk, and leave 2. And the fly ball to center that Wilkerson couldn't catch winds up to be a double. Karras' line drive, a single. 2-1 Montreal. Don't forget, individual tickets are now on sale at Dodger Stadium. You can visit the Dodger box office Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and give us a call, 323-2241-HIT, or check our website at Dodgers.com. Well, when you say his name, you automatically think of somebody else. Fernando Tatis at the plate, grounds one foul, and it jumps up into the seats. That gets everybody's attention. And the count 0-1. Fernando Tatis and Chan Ho Park. Fernando hitting .295, 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in. Right-hand hitter, and Brown works him a little low. Tatis, in case you didn't remember, became the first player in Major League history to hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning. The 1-1 pitch. In for a strike, 1 and 2. He hit both of them against Chan Ho Park. That was in the 3rd inning of a Dodger Cardinal game, and the Cardinals won it 12-5, and he had 8 RBIs in 1 inning. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled away. So Fernando Tatis, a good player and should have a solid career. He had a bad knee. He also had a bad shoulder, so both injuries slowed him up considerably. But now he's playing every day. Swings and drives one to right. Here comes Shawn Green, a diving catch for the out. Shawn Green makes the play that Brad Wilkerson couldn't make, and we have 1 out here in the 2nd inning. So Green charging, and at the last moment, fully extended, just did get the glove under the ball before it hit the grass, and he held on to it, doing a belly whop out there in right field. Now Troy O'Leary coming up, and the pitch to O'Leary is high, ball 1, 1-0. O'Leary will be 33 in August. Born in Compton and makes his home over in Arizona. Takes low, and the count ball 2. He was originally selected by Milwaukee. Then he was claimed on waivers for Boston 7 years ago. This year he was signed by Tampa Bay. He fouls a pitch away. He hit .308 in 1995 for Boston. And he had a couple of big years in home runs. In fact, 3 years ago, he had 28 home runs and 103 runs batted in. Graduate of Cypress High School in Cypress. And the 2-1 pitch is in there for a 2nd strike. Troy O'Leary also attended Chaffey College in San Diego. So Leary at the plate, and the 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, and down he goes. So 2 out in the second inning. Brown records a strikeout. When Sean Green has to do anything, he's always thinking about that left hand with that severe bump on it. So you can see as he was diving for that, he was making sure that he didn't put pressure on that left hand. And as soon as he hit the grass, he kind of raised the hand to make sure he didn't re-injure it. It's a tough enough game when you're 100%. And the batter now is Brian Schneider, and he takes a strike, and the count 0-1. So Schneider playing for Michael Barrett, and Barrett is doing all of the things that Montreal expected of him. Ground ball to shortstop. Cora is on it. Throws to first. Easy inning. 1-2-3 for Kevin Brown. And at the end of an inning and a half, the Expos 2 and the Dodgers 1. Bottom of the second inning, Expos 2, Dodgers 1. Marquise Grissom, Iram Bocachica, and then Kevin Brown. By the way, the backup first baseman for Montreal, Andres Galarraga, spent 5 days of a 15-day DL in Chicago. He underwent tests diagnosing the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma that caused him to miss the entire 1999 season. Test revealed just an abnormality in the lower back area, but the results really were normal, much to his relief and to everyone who's ever met him. It was very good news because naturally it troubled him. The pain in the lower back was in the same area where there had been cancer. But he's okay. He's in uniform and he's eligible to come off the DL on the 17th, tomorrow. The 1-0 pitch to Marquise Grissom is swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. 2-1 in favor of Montreal. Grissom trying to get something started. Oka comes back off speed. A hard ground ball to third, but Tatis played it off his chest and throws him out. Most third basemen down through the years eventually have that play. You get caught in between hops and you just take it right above the letters and then knock it down, keep it in front of you, and you're able to stay with it. So with 1 out, Bocachica coming up. Brian Jordan is still out with the pain in the lower back, so he has missed a couple. Dave Roberts is out, so Bocachica has a chance to do a little playing. Batting .241 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, and takes a strike. You know, one of the things in looking at this 2-1 ball game, you know, Montreal has been in 17 one-run games already, and they've only played 40 games. Pitch is popped foul off first. Big Lee Stevens on the move, but he's not going to get there. And the count 0-2. So 17 of the 40 games decided by 1 run. Meanwhile, there is a beautiful little child sitting down in his seat, and Dad holds up his right arm because the youngster came up with the foul ball. What a beautiful sight. Don't forget, hope you'll include us and your family in your plans this weekend. Strike 2, fastball to Grissom is low, and now Bocachica with the count 1-2. 2-1 in favor of Montreal, bottom of the second inning. Oka ready and comes back, and there's a ground ball to the hole. Short hop and backhanded by Cabrera to get him. Nice play. All you had to do is to see that play, and you can understand about the Gold Glove. So 2 out, and the batter will be Kevin Brown. Cabrera gliding over, short hopping, backhanding, then jamming on the brakes, and Bocachica runs well, but it was a perfect play. So Kevin Brown coming up, facing Tomokazu Oka. Brown checks in. Oka ready and delivers and works it away. Ball 1. Kevin is 4 for 12. That's a .333 batting average, including a home run and 2 runs batted in. 1-0 the count. The next pitch to Kevin swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Brown trying to get the Dodgers turned around. The Dodgers trying to help Brown get to the 500 mark. One ball and one strike, and the next one to Kevin is low, ball two. He hit a home run last year against Pete Harnish, and then he hit a home run against the ball people, Mike Hampton, this year back in April. The 2-1 pitch to Brown is swung on, and that's going to go over the glove of second baseman Vidro, and Brownie has a base hit. So a 2-out single by Brown following that dazzling play by Cabrera has slowed down the chance of a big inning, and now Alex Cora will be coming up. So Brown's fifth hit. Vidro up to the very top of the ladder, trying to one-handed but couldn't get there. So Brown at first. Stevens is not going to hold the bag. Lee is off and directly in front of Kevin. And here is Cora. The first pitch by Oka, ground ball to short. Cabrera will go to the bag ahead of Brown, and that's that. So no runs, one hit, a dazzling play by Cabrera as well. And at the end of two, Expos 2, Dodgers 1. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. By your local Lexus dealer, a new world of luxury. And by SBC, infinite character, SBC. Dodger Stadium, and they are here, the young and the old. And boy, some of them are really cute to look at. A couple of little rascals. As we go to the third, Expos 2, Dodgers 1. Eric Gagne, who had to be stirred by the wonderful rendition of "O Canada," sitting alongside Brian Jordan. What a rendition performed by Agostino Castanona. And boy, he can really sing it. So here we go in the third. Tomokazu Oka, and that's a strike. Dale Scott really gives you a move when he calls a strike. I mean, it's not just a case of putting the right hand up in the air. How about that? You back off, let her go. 0-2. Dale from Portland, Oregon, said he'd probably have been a disc jockey if he didn't become an umpire. There you go. Ring him up. Strikeout number 2. And by the way, when you're talking about the Montreal Expos and strikeouts, they are second to Florida in strikeouts. For Frank Robinson, of course, that would drive any manager crazy. Striking out, can't advance runners, can't do anything. They've struck out 327 times. At last check, Florida struck out 302, but not Vladimir. He is anything but a strikeout hitter. By the way, in case you wonder, the Dodgers have struck out 257 times. So here is Wilkerson. 1-1. Two runs, one hit for Montreal. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. We're in the third with 1 out. Two and 1 to Brad Wilkerson. Reminds you a little bit of Sean Casey. He'll stick out his tongue just a little bit as he takes a second strike. 2-2. Wilkerson is only 24. Fouled away. He'll be 25 June the 1st. A little bit of a shakeup with Brad Wilkerson, Troy O'Leary, and Will Cordero joining the ball club. Henry Rodriguez is gone. They just traded Chris Truby, the third baseman, who just joined the ball club recently. 2 down. In trading Truby, Montreal received an outfielder, Jose Macias, or Macias. Macias. Luke Collier is gone. Old pal Henry Rodriguez is gone. Well, here's Jose Vidro. He has always been a good hitter, and he hasn't let up. Fouled away. Last year, a .319 batting average. That was #1 for all second basemen. Isn't that a great sight? French fries, a helmet way too big for you, and that youthful countenance. What a mix. 0-1. Did that hit the bat? Think so. 0-2 the count. Just did get a piece of it. So Vidro, who reached on the throwing error by Beltre, and that's really the difference in the game, because then Vladimir came up and hit it out. Beltre will make that throw 99 times out of 100, but tonight he didn't. 0-2. Ball one. Cesar is tourist, taking in the ball game as a spectator. Little chop foul outside of third. That pitch was almost in LaDuca's mitt. Vidro waited so long, and then at the last minute kind of flicked the bat at it. One ball and 2 strikes. Boy, he can swing the bat, can he? Whoa. So Vidro, a shot up the middle for a base hit, and here comes that man again, Vladimir Guerrero. In the first inning, Vlad came up, and one of those no doubt about it home runs. Just a question of how far hit the platform supporting the TV camera. They said it was 437 feet. He has unusually long arms. It helps him. It also hinders him, because knowing he has long arms, a lot of times he'll go after a bad ball, and yet he's only struck out 17 times. Strike. And if anybody can say he owns Kevin Brown, it would be Vladimir Guerrero. He is 12 for 21 with 2 home runs and 10 RBIs. That is an out of sight batting average. Now back. 0-2. Of all the players, I think, playing today, and there are a lot of wonderful players, Barry Bonds is getting along in years. Guerrero, meanwhile, is probably the single most exciting player in the game. Doesn't bother with a batting glove. Hits one down the line, but foul. He is a great package of speed and power. If you total his home runs and stolen bases, it's the highest in baseball this year. He has 13 home runs and 10 stolen bases. Sammy Sosa has 15 home runs, but he had only 2 stolen bases the last time we looked. 0-2. Ground ball right down to second. Krasolanik is on it. That's that. So not every time Vladimir, nor every time for Kevin Brown. No runs, a hit, a man left at the end of 2.5. 2-1 Montreal.
29. Third baseman.
Don't forget the Dodgers host the Montreal Expos tomorrow night at 7:10 here at Dodger Stadium, and all fans in attendance receive an Eric Karros t-shirt, compliments of Craig and Auto Parts. Be sure to bring the whole family. Turn it into a festival. They are here, all ages, all sights. It's so great to see them. Now back to the game. And the first pitch, a strike to Adrian Beltre. Eric Karros knocked in the only Dodger run so far. It's 2-1 Montreal. Foul back. 0-2 the count to Beltre. Jim Tracy trying to get an offense going. So he moves the lineup around a little bit, and finally Beltre up there in the number 2 slot. 0-2. Beltre, one reason they moved him up against Tomokazu Oka, he's hitting .364 as the result of the series with the Mets. Fastball sliced to right center. Wilkerson makes this play, and that was a heck lot tougher than the other one. So a great play by Brad Wilkerson, taking an extra base hit away from Adrian Beltre, and certainly the scales have balanced out. The ball that he should have caught, he didn't, and the ball that was really hard to catch, he did. Great play by Wilkerson. 1 out. Wonderful play, and that'll bring up Shawn Green. So Wilkerson would get a gold medal on that play for the Olympics. Meanwhile, Shawn pulls one foul. 0-1. Vladimir looks like he's always having fun playing. That's one of the charming things about him. And of course, it comes so easy to him. Whoa. Yeah, you think I like him as a player? He might be my favorite. And he's only 26 years old. 0-2 to Green. He's from Bani in the Dominican Republic. Perfect size, 6'3" and 210. Comebacker, and Oka makes a good play. 2 down. So a couple of nice defensive plays here. Keep the Dodgers quiet.
Catcher number 16, Paul LaTuca.
So Wilkerson and Oka have deprived the Dodgers of a possible hit or two. And now Paul LaDuca, who flied to right field in the first inning. Remember we told you earlier about what he does when he hits third, 330, and anywhere else hitting 207. Well, hitting fourth, he's hitting 195. Why is he hitting fourth? It's protection, as they say, for Shawn Green. LaDuca, however, 2 for 11 in the recent series with the Mets, so he is 2 for 12, and he's hurting in that number 4 slot. 1 ball and no strike. That's a strike. And you might wonder, why in the world does where you hit in the lineup affect you that much? As Orlando Cabrera imitates Napoleon down there to keep that right hand warm. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking ball, strike. 1-2. Big curveball. Got the outside corner. On deck, Eric Karros. Fastball on the hand, so that's a great way to pitch. You saw him hit the outside corner with the breaking ball, and he came right back in with a fastball to get him. Brad Wilkerson, a circus catch to deprive Beltre of a double, and it's 2-1 Montreal. Friends, don't miss the Southern California Sports Report tonight for highlights of all of today's sports action. We'll have a Dodger postgame report and a lot more. The Southern California Sports Report tonight after the game. 4th inning, 2-1 Montreal, with Lee Stevens followed by Orlando Cabrera and then Fernando Tatis. It's finger-licking good if you're a kid with cotton candy in the ballpark. And Brown going to work in the 4th. Big Stevens pops it up. Down the line comes Karros in foul ground, and just like that puts it away. 1 down. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. Now, Frank Robinson is one of 3 current managers who won an MVP award as a player. Who are the other 2? Frank not only won an MVP award, he's the only man in the history of the game to win an MVP in the National League with Cincinnati and in the American League with Baltimore. And he was some kind of player. Strike. In fact, Robbie, no doubt, lives his life over again, a vicarious thrill watching Guerrero. 0-1 to Orlando Cabrera. 1-1. Cabrera grounded out in the first inning. Made a nice play to take a base hit away from Boca Chica. That's a strike. 1-2. If you joined us a little late, Vidro hit a ground ball to Beltre in the first inning. Adrian threw it away, and then Guerrero came up and hit one to dead center 437 feet away, and the Expos led 2-0. Breaking ball got him. So Cabrera chasing it, and down he goes. 2 out. So the Kevin Brown slider is working well as he puts Cabrera back in the dugout, and Fernando Tatis coming up. The Dodger run, Beltre hit a looping fly ball to right center. Wilkerson made a dive but couldn't catch it. And with 2 out, Karras singled him in. So 2-1 Expos in the 4th. And Tatis, a strike. Tatis hit one to right field, and Sean Green made a fine diving catch to take a base hit away from him. Next one's a strike. So since the Expos have been involved in 17 one-run games and the Dodgers have been involved in 10, it would not be a surprise if they play this one close to the best. 0-2. Fastball, and he just got a little of that. It was clocked at 95. Tomokazu Oka from Kyoto, Japan. I bought a book in Kyoto. It was James Michener's Sayonara. 0-2. And that's going to go over Karras' head down the right field line. So a 2-out single for Fernando Tatis will bring up Troy O'Leary.
Fielder number 25, Troy O'Leary.
2 runs, 3 hits for Montreal. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. O'Leary coming up. 33 in August. As we told you, he was born in Compton. O'Leary's put up some very good numbers. He's had as many as 5 RBIs in a game. He's hit 2 home runs in a game 6 times. He has a couple of grand slams. And he had a 15-game hitting streak 3 years ago. Ball 1. One and 0 to Troy O'Leary. Ryan Schneider on deck. With a name like Troy, he went to Chaffey Junior College. You'd think he'd be a natural to go to SC. One ball, 1 strike. There goes the runner. The pitch is high. The throw is on a bounce, and it is a stolen base. So the league very successful in stealing bases. The league now has stolen 38 bases against the Dodgers. And Tatis got enough of a jump to beat the throw. Tough play for Cora since it was short hop. So with 2 out, Tatis in scoring position. 2-1 to O'Leary. Little ground ball to Karras. He'll shovel it to Brown, and that'll be that. So no runs, a hit, a stolen base, and a man left. And at the end of 3 1/2, Expos 2, Dodgers 1.
For 23.
Remember our Aflac trivia question. Frank Robinson is one of 3 current managers who won an MVP award as a player. Who were the other 2? Well, did you indeed mention Joe Torre? And how about Don Baylor? If you did, you got it 100%. but no one has been the MVP in 2 leagues except Frank. For the Dodgers, Karras, Grassolonic, and Grissom. Tomokazu Oka leading 2-1. That's a strike to Eric Karras, who knocked in the only run in the first inning. And that got him on the hand. So Karras hit by a pitch. And that'll bring up Mark Grassolonic. Striding in, he was locked, and it got him right on the edge of the elbow, I think. But he's all right. So Karras held on by Lee Stevens. And the batter is Mark Grassolonic. Tying run aboard, nobody out. Mark, who had a couple of good years with Montreal, parts of 4 years. Line drive, base hit to left field. Karras to second and holding. So the Dodgers now with 2 on and nobody out, trailing 2-1, and the batter will be Marquise Grissom.
Center fielder number 9, Marquise Grissom.
Marquise Grissom grounded to third in the second inning. He's 0 for 1. Another former Expo. Two runs, 3 hits for the Expos. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Bottom of the 4th. Iram Boca Chica on deck. Tatis up in the neighborhood of third base. And now Brian Schneider going out to talk to Oka. Oka last year made a couple of pretty good starts for the Red Sox. Then he had 2 bad outings, and next thing you know, he was in AAA. Called him up in July, pitched poorly, so they dealt him to Montreal. He pitched in and out for a few years in the Central League in Japan. Kazushi pitched in the same league. So I assume they certainly have seen each other pitch and might very well know each other. Odalis Perez hanging out with Kaz, as they usually are, except when either one is pitching. Then it's all business. 0-1 to Marquise Grissom. 1-1. On deck, Boca Chica. 2 on, nobody out. 2-1 Montreal. Tomorrow night, Tony Armas Jr. and Hideo Nomo. A throw through, not in time. But Schneider pulled the trigger. Good, strong throw. The pitching for the series: Tony Armas Jr. and Hideo Nomo, Carl Pavano and Odalis Perez Saturday night, Bruce Chen and Andy Ashby Sunday afternoon. So take your pick. Hope you'll be out here with us. 1-2 to Grissom. And that's fouled away. So Marquise hacking away, trying to extend the inning. She and Perez, watch them now, chewing seeds. Look at that. And they're not shooting for distance. Whoops, almost got him. One ball and 2 strikes to Marquise Grissom. Did he just manage to hold up? 2-2. In the inning, Karras led off and was hit by a pitch. Grassolonic ripped one into left field for a base hit. Expos lead 2-1, bottom of the 4th inning. Fastball, a little cracked bat. A play at third, but there's nobody there. Oka handles his position very well. And had Tatis gotten back to the bag, they would have gotten a force play. But instead, Tatis started to come in for that little dribbler. But Oka very quick got there ahead of him, but nowhere to throw it. And by the time he turns to first, Grissom is aboard. And it'll be an infield single, and that loads the bases. So Karras has reached third. He began the inning hit by a pitch. Grasolanek is second. He had a base hit. And now Grissom gets a little squibber for a hit. So the bases loaded, nobody out. And Boca Chica robbed of a hit by Cabrera in the second inning. 0-1. Boca Chica 2 for 8 against the Mets. So counting tonight, he's 2 for 9. On deck, Kevin Brown, who had a base hit, remember, in the second inning. No balls, 1 strike. On and off the rubber. Now Oka appears to be locked in. 0-2 to Boca Chica. So Karras stands at third, Grasolanek at second, Grissom at first, and Boca Chica trying to pick somebody up to tie up the game. Oka came into the game 24 strikeouts, 11 walks, so a little more than 2-to-1 ratio. He started by striking out Alex Cora, leading off the bottom of the first. Now he's 0-2 to Boca Chica. One and two. That's as hard as Oka has thrown. That hit 93 on the gun. Meanwhile, Sean Green listening to Jack Clark, a rather stoic Paul LaDuca sitting on the other side. Tracy wondering if he'll ever see a big inning, so Jim is restless. 1-2 the count. The infield is back in double play depth against a ball club that is grounded into 50 double plays. 1-2 to Boca Chica. And it's a line drive, and they're going to have a double play at first. So Boca Chica hits one back at Oka, who throws to Stevens. Grissom had nowhere to go. When that ball left the bat, Grissom was thinking base hit up the middle. And instead, it's a 1-3 double play. This one, however, not grounded into. So 2 out no matter what. So now there are runners at second and third, and Kevin Brown the batter, but with 2 out. So Kevin trying to make a major contribution here. Misses the bunt. 0-1. So a hit batter and 2 singles loaded him up. Boca Chica lines back to the pitcher for a double play, and the count 0-1 to Kevin Brown. Oka came in with a reputation of being a good fielder, and you can see now he handled Grasolanek in the first inning, made a wonderful play. That's 0-2. Made a very good play on the ball by Grissom, but Tatis had left the bag. Made a good play on the ball hit by Green, and now handles. It was more of a soft line drive, and he turned it for 2. 0-2 the count to Kevin Brown. 2-1 Expos. 4th inning. Brown hitting .385, if you please. I would guess that Michael Barrett has done most of the catching for Tomokazu Oka. Brian Schneider looked like he was trying to counsel his pitcher. Meanwhile, Marquise Grissom had nowhere to go on that line drive back to Oka. Andy Ashby sitting next to him. 0-2 to Kevin Brown. Nice save by Schneider. 1-2. Expos got 2 in the first. Guerrero a home run with a man aboard. Dodgers got 1 back. Karras singled home Beltre. A moment ago the Dodgers had the bases loaded and nobody out. Now second and third, 2 out. 1-2. Got him. So the Dodgers spin their wheels in the fourth. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. And at the end of 4, it's Montreal 2 and the Dodgers 1.
Ryan.
2-1 Montreal, and the gloves really have it so far tonight. A lot of protection for the pitchers. Sean Green takes a hit away from Tatis. Orlando Cabrera takes a hit away from Boca Chica. And Brad Wilkerson takes a double at least away from Adrian Beltre. And as usual, the reason you see fine defensive plays, Brown has not walked a batter. Oka has walked 1. All of the fielders on their toes, and it's reflected by the dazzling defensive plays. Brian Schneider, then Tomokazu Oka, and Brad Wilkerson in that order. 5th inning. 2-1 Montreal, a ball club that is certainly accustomed to 1-run games. 17 of them. They're 7-10. Ball 1. Brian Schneider grounded to short in the second inning. 5th round draft pick promptly hits one into center for a base hit. So Schneider a leadoff single, and now we'll see about Tomo Oka.
Pitcher number 24.
Leading 2-1. You would expect that you'd get a bunt from Oka, and in looking at what he has done with the bat this year, he has 2 sacrifices. Dodgers look bunt. Beltre well in on the grass. Brown keeping an eye on Schneider. That's ball 1. 2-1 Montreal, 5th inning. The Expos have lost 7 straight on the road, fresh from a sweep by San Diego. 1 ball and no strikes. Fouled the bunt, and that got a little bit of Dale Scott. 1-1 to count. So Scott walking it off, and Oka now will go over and talk to Manny Acta, coaching at third. Acta and Oka. 1-1. Schneider held on by Karras. Just to make it tougher, Brown coming a little bit by way of third base. And the count 1-2. Now do they want him bunting with 2 strikes? Yep. Off the plate, 2-2. Game 1, the Expos are going to be here a while. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Shows bunt and got it foul, so he is struck out. So Oka unable to advance Schneider. That'll be the 4th strikeout for Kevin Brown.
Center fielder, number 6.
Dropped it right on the chalk, trying to deaden it by bringing his arms folded and hands back and then pushing at it. And the ball went right up along the chalk and then went foul by that much. So 1 out, and here's Brad Wilkerson, grounded out twice. Karras to Brown in the 1st inning, Brown to Karras in the 3rd inning. Struggling on the trip, 1 for 13. There goes the runner, and it's fouled off. So they had Schneider going. 0-1. With the recent additions of outfielders Troy O'Leary and Will Cordero, it's a question whether Brad Wilkerson will get his at-bats. 0 for 2 tonight, batting .250. Fouled away. 0-2. Not too long ago, Montreal led the Eastern Division by 3 games. Then they hit the skids. They had a 6-game losing streak, and Frank Clubb dropped to 3rd, but still only 2 games back. Of course, Atlanta beat the Giants, and Atlanta is just a half a game back of Montreal. Arizona and Philadelphia, they're 1-1, 6th inning. Giants lost, but boy, they really gave John Smoltz a bad time. They were down 5-1 in the 9th inning. Smoltz came in to close, and they scored 3 times and came up a buck short. Did he? No, he didn't. 2-2 the count to Brad Wilkerson. On deck, Jose Bedro, another tough hitter. And then, of course, the big guy. 2-2. Ground ball down to short. Step on the bag and double him, so Cora does the job. No runs a hit, nobody left. And at the end of 4.5 innings, Kevin Brown walks off down 2-1. Here's our upcoming schedule. Tomorrow night on Fox Sports Net 2. Saturday and Sunday will be on UPN 13. Dodgers then hit the road Tuesday and Wednesday from Milwaukee, Fox Sports Net 2, and then Thursday exclusively on Fox Sports AM 1150. And you can catch every Dodger game with Ross Porter and Rick Monday on KWKW 1330 AM. You can catch them all with Jaime Jarrín and Pepe Iniguez. Bottom of the 5th inning. 2-1 Montreal. Alex Cora, Adrian Beltre, and then Sean Green. A strike. Cora struck out, hit into a force play. Meanwhile, Sean Green sitting next to Jim Colburn. 0-2 the count. Usually you would see a pitcher sitting next to the pitching coach, but not in Brown's case. And Jim, who's a very easygoing guy, talking to Sean Green. 1-2. So Cora trying to start something here in the 5th inning. Dodgers had 1 run in 26 innings and then scored in the 1st inning, but they have lapsed back to silence again, 1 away. Even in the 4th, loading the bases with nobody out. And then Boca Chica, that soft line drive for a double play, and then Brown struck out. Marquise Grissom reacting as soon as the ball was hit, and he couldn't get back to first. So now Adrian Beltre. Check to swing. They look. Swing, says Jim Joyce. And the count 0-1. On deck, Sean Green. Fastball, and he really threw that one by him, and yet it wasn't 90. It was 89. So Beltre tied up. 0-2 the count. Adrian hitting .276. Beltre 2 home runs, 12 runs batted in. And that's going to be hit over the head of Cabrera for a base hit to center, and that'll bring up Sean Green.
Right fielder number 15.
The Expos 2 runs, 4 hits, and the Dodgers 1 run, 6 hits. So here's Sean. Walked in the first inning. Oka made a good play to throw him out in the third. Unable to come up with a base hit against the Mets. 0 for 1 tonight, so he's 0 for 10 in the stand. Ball 1. Beltre at first base without a stolen base. He's 0 for 2. And with a left-hand hitter up, no doubt they'll prefer to keep Lee Stevens on the bag and keep the right side of the infield open. One ball and no strikes to Sean Green. Off speed, got it in there, outside corner. The Dodgers saw enough off-speed, slow curveballs last night from Jeff D'Amico to last them a lifetime. 1-1. Fastball. Now he's behind. 2 balls and 1 strike. Oka came in here with a record of 3-2. And he has won his last 2 starts. Dodgers saw him briefly last year. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, was not involved in the decision. He's leading 2-1 in the 5th inning tonight. Little ground ball to Stevens on the bag. Has to be a tag down there, and he missed the tag. As soon as Stevens stepped on first, that removed the force play. Cabrera took a swipe, and Beltre was able to avoid him.
Catcher number 16.
So Green grounds to first with Beltre advancing. Did a little dance, got around the attempted tag. Just missed him. So the tying run is at second base. 2 out. Paul LeDuc will be the batter, and Cabrera and Beltre having a little conversation down there at second base. So LeDuc now trying to pick him up. Cabrera is from Colombia, Cartagena. High fastball, ball 1. LeDuc applied to right, grounded to third, 0 for 2. Struggling in the cleanup spot. On deck, Eric Karras, who knocked in the only Dodger run in the first inning. Ball 2. runs, 4 hits for Montreal. 1 run, 6 hits for the Dodgers. They've left 5. And Beltre, the tying run. In the top of the 6th inning, Vladimir bats second. All 3. Oka has walked 1 and hit a batter. 80 pitches. 3-0 to LaDuca. Way outside. So that'll bring up Karras. Eric single to left in the first inning to score Beltre and was hit by the pitch in the 4th inning.
Number 23, Eric Karras.
Karras hit. That was the inning when the Dodgers eventually led the bases up and came away empty-handed. Karras hit for the first time this year. So 2 on, 2 out. 2-1 Montreal. On deck, Mark Grasolonic. And a drive in the gap to left center field. Wilkerson picks it off. So Brad Wilkerson, who robbed Beltre in the 3rd, takes an extra base hit and maybe 2 runs away from Karras. And it is still 2-1 Montreal. I guess everybody who watches baseball knows that Ted Williams hit over 400 in 1941. But he also went away twice, and when he returned from the Korean War as a Marine Corps pilot, he came up against Detroit on this day in 1954. They say he grimaced with pain every time he swung the bat, but I think the Detroit manager grimaced in pain even more. What did he do? In the doubleheader, Ted Williams went 8 for 9. He had 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. Teddy Boy was back big time. Let's see about this one. That's a strike. 0-1. This is a tough inning now for Brown. Jose Vidro, Vladimir Guerrero, and Lee Stevens. 0-2. Vidro reached on the error, then Vlad hit it out, and in the 3rd inning he singled and Guerrero grounded out. Dave Hansen at the ready. Brown due to bat 4th in the bottom of the 6th. Shot up the middle, and it's a base hit. So Vidro grounding a single to center. 2 for 3. And here comes Vladimir Guerrero.
Vladimir Guerrero.
Show you what happens with a guy like Guerrero. He was thrown out in 5 of his first 7 stolen base attempts. Turned right around and has stolen 8 straight. So he has it all. He runs, he throws, he hits with power. He has got a great arm, 7 assists, and he has really beaten up on Brown. Batting .348, and that got a little bit of LaDuca, but just a little. 0-1 to count to Vladimir Guerrero. An interesting study on Guerrero. He is a very offensive-minded hitter. He's only struck out 17 times. Going into this game, he had 38 runs batted in, and he had taken, by actual count, only 38 strikes. So, I mean, if it's anywhere in the area, he's gone after it, and yet it's remarkable he doesn't strike out much. 0-1. Fastball, foul back. 0-2. Guerrero had a monstrous April just to start off the year. Orlando Cabrera and a couple of the guys were trying to figure out a good nickname for Vladimir Guerrero. One of them said Caveman. They said, nah, that won't work. Robot, nah. And then Cabrera said, I liked Dinosaur T-Rex. That's what we gave to him. The dinosaur of all dinosaurs. However they came up with that, no one knows, but that's it. Ball one. One and two. Breaking ball. Push. I tell you, there's no way for Brown to get him out. Here's the way Brown tried to pitch Guerrero.
9. Lee.
First down and in, fouled off. Inside, foul back, all fastballs. Breaking ball way outside, and then a little breaking ball out over the plate. And for Brown, consolation, he kept it in the ballpark. But look at those long arms. He covers all of the plate and then some. So Guerrero now has 56 hits, another multi-hit game for him. And with nobody out, Lee Stevens. Now, Lee Stevens would certainly hope that some of Guerrero would rub off on him. He had a stretch where he was 1 for 37. So they have the big guy bunting, foul, 0-1. For Lee Stevens in his 8th major league season. Facing Kevin Brown, who has made 78 pitches. From April the 30th until May the 12th, Lee Stevens was the first to say, I have totally lost it. 1 for 37. His average dropped 80 points. 1-1. Stevens is a big guy, 6'4", 235 pounds. And as a big fella, he's a power hitter. Last 2 years, he had 22 and 25, and yet he was bunting on the first pitch. 1-1. That's on the corner. Stevens is 0 for 2 tonight. In the past, he was doing okay. 7 for 20 against Brown. Yes, missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Guerrero with 2 hits tonight, a single and a home run. He's at first base. He now has had 19 multi-hit games. 19 in the first 41 games. 2-2 to Lee Stevens. Fastball drilled to center, base hit. They will wave Vidro in. Grissom overruns the ball, so Guerrero goes to third, and they hold him. He lost sight of the play and almost ran out of it, but Guerrero got back. So Lee Stevens almost takes Brown apart with a bullet up the middle. All 3 hits have gone to straightaway center. There will be an error charged to Marquise Grissom. The error accounting for Guerrero going to third. So Brown is in trouble now. He is due to bat 4th, and he and the Dodgers are down 3-1. So first and third, and remember, nobody out. So Vladimir Guerrero at third, Lee Stevens at first, and Orlando Cabrera at the plate. Omar Dahl down in the pen. Fastball hit in the air. Trying to time it and throw on the run is Grissom. With nobody out, Vladimir's not going to come. So a little fly ball to shallow center. The run is hold. Cabrera, a chance for an RBI, lets it get away. And now Fernando Tatis.
Number 21, Fernando Tatis.
One of the big differences between Montreal and the Dodgers, they played the same number of games coming in, 40 games. Montreal had scored 190 runs, and the Dodgers only 138. I mean, that's a big difference. And now Montreal leading 3-1 here in the 6th inning. Tatis lost a hit on a diving catch by Green and single to right in the 4th inning. 0-1. Fernando batting .304. So the big man is at third, Vladimir Guerrero. Lee Stevens over at first. And tonight, at least, the Expos are playing without a .300 hitter, Michael Barrett. Vidro hitting over .300, Guerrero over .300, and Barrett. That's in there. Strike 2. The Dodgers do not have a regular hitting .300. Both Karras and LaDuca came into the game hitting .290. (3-1) Montreal, 6th inning, 1 out. So he takes care of Tatis. 2 down in the 6th. For Brown, he picks up his 5th strikeout, and that'll bring up Troy O'Leary, who struck out and grounded out.
O'Leary.
In checking with the official scorer, when Stevens got the base hit, we said the error charged to Marquise Grissom was accounting for Guerrero's presence at third, but the score said no. Vidro scored on Grissom's error. Ball 1. Brown throwing sinkers, has 2 wild pitches, so that puts a little pressure on Paul LaDuca. Karras, meanwhile, hollering over, we're not going to hold Lee Stevens on. So Guerrero and Beltre, 2 kids from the Dominican, a lot to talk about over there. 1-0 the count to O'Leary. Ball 2. Can you imagine having all the talent that guy has? No wonder you walk around talking to everybody, grinning. Little ground ball. Grassolonic to Carroll. However, the Expos get a run on 3 hits and an error. And at the end of 5.5, Expos 3, Dodgers 1. (3-1) Montreal, bottom of the 6th inning. On the scoreboard, the Giants made a 9th inning charge against John Smoltz, but came up short. Atlanta held on to win it 5-4. Sheffield hit his 6th. Santiago hit his 4th in the 9th. That was the blow that got him close. Philadelphia, Arizona, 1-1 in the 7th inning. Randy Johnson against a gang of pitchers for Philadelphia. Jimmy Rollins hit a home run to account for the Phillies' run. Down south, the Mets are leading San Diego 2-1. Colorado pounded Florida. Cincinnati got a 9th inning home run from Sean Casey and went on to beat Milwaukee 2-1. And Houston over Pittsburgh 3-1. Lance Berkman hit his 15th. Now in the bottom of the 6th inning, Tomokazu Oka working on Grassolonic, Grissom, and Boca Chica, with Brown due up 4th. And a drive to left, and that stung O'Leary to the wall. It is gone. So Mark Grassolonic hits the first pitch into the left field seats, and the Dodgers get back to within 1. For Grassolonic, his 3rd home run, his 16th run batted in. For Oka, that would be the 4th home run that he has allowed this year. And we mentioned last year, home runs really bothered him.
Center fielder number
He gave
9.
up 15 home runs in 100 innings. Fastball out over the plate above the knees and gone. Now Grissom, breaking ball strike. So Mark Grassolonic hits his 3rd. High fly ball down the right field line, slicing. Here comes Vlad, but he's not going to get it. Way back up into the crowd. The Guerrero, a long run for naught. 0-2 the count to Marquise Grissom. The error by Grissom, the reason it was an error, Vidro on the base hit by Stevens stopped at third, so the bases would have been loaded with nobody out. Cabrera, little fly ball, and he hits one into left center. Wilkerson on the run, can't get this one, and it'll bounce up into the seats. It's interesting, when we were giving you a scouting report on Tomokazu Oka at the start of the game, we talked about the fact that he does not appear to be very strong, not equipped with great stamina. He usually lasts only 5 to 6 innings. The only time the Dodgers saw him last year, he lasted 5. Meanwhile, Dave Hansen waiting for instructions. Home run by Grassolonic, a double by Grissom, and now Boca Chica. They pull up the corners. They think Boca Chica will be bunting to try and get Grissom over to third. He's swinging. 0-1. Boca Chica with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 4th inning. A soft line drive right back to Oka, and he threw to first and doubled up Grissom. And on an inside pitch, looks like he tried to bunt it. Jim Tracy coming out along with Stan Johnson, and maybe we can see just what happened. Around a bunt, tried to bunt, and it got him, so he stays there at the plate. So Grissom at second, nobody out. Boca Chica took a rip and missed, then tried to bunt. You see where his fingers are, right around the bat, and he moved the bat, an attempt to bunt. So Stan Johnson ministering to Hiram Boca Chica. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Jim Tracy, who managed Boca Chica in the minor leagues. Jim, of course, the connection with Montreal. He was the bench coach for Felipe Alou. And now Tracy heading back to the dugout. So a home run by Grassolonic, a double by Grissom. The tying run is at second base. Nobody out in the 6th. And Montreal leading as they have been since the top of the 1st inning. They're leading 3-2. They're 1-1 in Arizona with 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Junior Spivey the batter. Meanwhile, Kevin Brown deep in thought in the Dodger dugout. Out on deck is Dave Hansen to bat for him. 0-2 to Hiram Boca Chica, playing for Brian Jordan. Ball 1. So Kevin Brown gave up 3 runs and 7 hits. 2-run home run to Guerrero, and then 3 singles in the 6th inning, and the error by Grissom. 1-2 the count. Fastball hit foul. Tomorrow night, Tony Armas Jr. and Hideo Nomo. Saturday night, Carl Pavano and Odalis Perez. Sunday afternoon, Bruce Chen and Andy Ashby. 1-2. Got him. Foul tip, and Boca Chica strikes out. 1 out, and the batter will be Dave Hansen. So Kevin Brown is done for the night. 3 runs, 7 hits, and actually 2 of the 3 runs unearned.
Number 25.
The error by Beltre in the first inning, and the error by Grissom in the 6th. Vladimir Guerrero hitting the big 2-run home run, and then the single that set the wheels going in the 6th inning. Omar Dahl getting ready down in the Dodger bullpen, and Hansen trying to get Grissom home to get the club even. Ball 1. Dave with 112 pinch hits in his career. One ball, no strikes. Ground ball up the middle. Back to get it is Vidro. Makes the play. So Grissom advances to third. That'll bring up Alex Cora.
Alex Cora.
Tomokazu Oka does not have a wild pitch. It's something we always check with a runner at third. We have 2 out, bottom of the 6th. Expos 3, Dodgers 2. Together, these 2 teams have played 27 one-run games. Fouled away, 0-1. Kevin Brown, 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits. No walks, 5 strikeouts. And a slow roller, and there's Oka. Boy, he is quick around that mound. So the Dodgers had bases loaded, nobody out in the 4th. He fought his way out of that, and he leaves the tying run at third, and it's 3-2 Montreal. Dodger baseball is brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California, by SBC, Infinite Character SBC, and by Pennzoil, we're driving protection. We're going to the 7th inning at Dodger Stadium, and the Expos leading the Dodgers 3-2. Remember, tomorrow night, Armas and Nomo. Saturday night, Pavano and Perez. Sunday afternoon, Chen and Ashby, and we hope you'll bring your children and brighten the place up. 3-2 Montreal. Kevin Brown went 6, gave up 3 runs, but 2 of them unearned. 7 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Omar Dahl is in his 13th game. 11 times he has been called in relief now, with a wonderful ERA of 1.3, and overall his earned run average is 1.1. Gets a strike to Brian Schneider, 0-1. Schneider grounded to short, single to center. Slow curveball in for a strike. That was 73 miles an hour. That was a real spinner. And the fastball hit to Karras. Underhanding to Dahl. 1 away. Dahl is a man waiting for his turn.
Pitcher number 24.
But he has been absolutely invaluable coming out of the bullpen. Now Tomokazu Oka, who has pitched well and has fielded very well. Struck out twice, once swinging, once trying to bunt. Dodgers keep making a move at him, and he keeps fighting his way out of the corners. The Dodgers have left 8 in 6 innings. Little chopper to Dahl. 2 down. The batter, Brad Wilkerson, who has figured more with his glove than the bat. In the first inning, I think maybe he might have caught this one, but he didn't, and it went for a double. In the 3rd inning, he shouldn't have caught it, and he did. And Wilkerson in the 5th inning, going after a long drive by Karras and runs it down. So the kid who played for the U.S. Olympic team and played center field in Australia, putting on a show out there. Ball 1. Wilkerson grounded out twice, hit into a double play. 1-0. That's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers will have Beltre, Green, and LaDuca in the 7th. Another strike. Fastball sinking outside part of the plate. Omar Dahl has been so brilliant. His ratio, 29 strikeouts to 6 walks. Almost 5-1. Two balls, 2 strikes. Three and 2. Well, we see now what Dahl does. 3-2 fastball, or is it going to be a breaking ball? Breaking ball, off speed. Karras waves him away. So a very easy inning for Omar Dahl. Ground balls, 2 to Karras, 1 a comebacker, and we're heading to the bottom of the 7th. The Expos 3, the Dodgers 2. Now for a sports update, let's go to the Fox Sports Net studio.
This sports break is brought to you by Acura. Hello everybody, I'm Steve Lyons at the Fox Network Center. In Colorado, the Rockies pounded out 12 hits and 2 home runs in a 10-3 win over the Marlins. Phil Mickelson struggled all day long in the first round of the MasterCard Colonial in Texas. And Rockies third baseman Todd Zeile says that the players could consider boycotting the All-Star game if labor talks continue to be stalled. For all the latest news and scores, stay with Fox Sports Net.
Henry Chavez.
3-2 Montreal, bottom of the 7th inning. Couple of changes. Brad Wilkerson, who has put on quite a show in center field, moves over to left. And Endy Chavez recently joined the ball club. He will take over in center, and boy, that's a pretty tough act to follow for Chavez, because Wilkerson has done so very well out there. For the Dodgers, Beltre, Green, and LaDuca. One ball and no strikes. Three runs, 7 hits for Montreal. 2 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers. So the Dodger defense that has been a bulwark has hurt the Dodgers and Kevin Brown tonight. 2-0 the count to Beltre. Doubled, robbed of an extra base hit, and singled. 2 for 3, hitting .281. Fastball in there. 2-1. Going into this game, the Dodgers were tied for the best fielding percentage in the National League. But the errors have hurt tonight. They usually do. Recording it all. Two and 2. So Beltre still there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 100 pitches now for Tomokazu Oko, a young man from Kyoto. Always remember going to the Emperor's Castle in Kyoto, and that went right through his legs for a base hit. So Beltre's third hit, and the batter will be Sean Green. The floors in the castle were of wood, and they were called mockingbird floors because the way the wood was inlaid and hooked up, there was no way you could tiptoe down the hall without making a sound like birds singing. The reason for that was to prevent assassins from creeping up on the emperor. Kyoto, right a city. Here's Sean Green now. Ball one. So Beltre with 2 singles and a double. Green has walked, grounded out twice, and Beltre the tying run. Adrian 0 for 2 stealing bases. Paul LaDuca on deck. Ground ball. They're going to get one. Can you believe it? Sean Green has now hit into 12 double plays. And what's so interesting, 11 of the 12 double plays, the count has either been even, or in this case, he was ahead of the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Wow. So Paul LaDuca comes up, base is empty. I mean, Sean Green getting a few pats from Jack Clark, just can't figure it out. Ball one. Dodgers hit into 2 double plays, but the other one's the line drive at Oka. Not easy being Green. Not now. Two balls and no strikes to Paul LaDuca. LaDuca flied to right, grounded to third, and walked. 0 for 2. Boy, this is a great game when you're, Vladimir Guerrero, and everything you do seems to be okay. And especially playing in Montreal, there's no pressure up there. But it is a brutal game if you're in the kind of a slump that Sean Green is in, and playing in a major market like Los Angeles, coming off a great year last year. Meanwhile, Beltre doing the best he can to take care of Cabrera, but he's a flying young man, and Cabrera was able to double him up and almost had his face cut by his own goal. That's a strike. 2 and 2. Orlando Cabrera. You would think he'd stuff all that stuff down into his shirt so it doesn't fly up and hit him in the eye. 2 and 2. High fly ball to right field. It looks like it's only going into Guerrero's glove. No run to lead off single, and a downcast and really puzzled Sean Green. He looks like somebody who just can't figure it out. It's 3-2 Montreal. Friends, how about organizing a Dodger group night? Bring your friends, church, youth organizations, co-workers, whatever. Groups receive special benefits, including discounts and gifts, even a chance to throw out the first pitch. So give us a call, 323-224-1-HIT. Foul bunt by Bedro. Look, is this interesting? Look at the lady on the phone, and these 2 kids are swinging bats. And she continues the conversation. I mean, you have to have the patience of a saint, don't you? 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Jose Bedro, and the man on deck, Vladimir Guerrero. Ball 2, 2 and 1. By the way, Guerrero on deck against Omar Dahl. Maybe you don't want to know. Foul back. Vladimir Guerrero against Omar Dahl is 8 for 11. That's a .727 batting average, including a home run. Down in the Expo bullpen, Graham Lloyd, the left-hander, old pal Matt Hergis, the right-hander. Meanwhile, Vidro strikes out. And now here comes Guerrero. Worth the price of admission.
Right fielder number 27.
Glenn Hoffman
Vladimir
checking with
Guerrero.
Jeff Rebele. So Guerrero hit a 2-run home run in the first inning, singled up the middle in the 6th. 19 multi-hit games. A shot foul. 0-1. If you had one player to watch, one player you'd buy a ticket for just to see him, who would it be? This would be my man. Foul ball. 0-2. I mean, Sammy is fun. Lance Berkman is going to be a star. A couple of those kids with Cincinnati. But this fella, wow. Of course, Barry Bonds, naturally, but he's much older. He doesn't do now what Vladimir can do. Talking batting average, stolen bases, home runs, RBIs. Doesn't strike out much. Yeah, much, but now. Sinker on the outside corner. Yeah, he said outside and walks away. So Guerrero strikes out against a guy against whom he had a .720. Yeah, that, well, never mind. Down he goes. And the batter will be Lee Stevens. So a rare time indeed for Guerrero to strike out, and he certainly didn't get the best on that call. 1-0 to Lee Stevens. Lee flied to left, popped up, single to center. That's a strike. 1-1. When the Dodgers bat, and it's sleepy time for some now. Well, not really. That's a strike. 1-2. Dodgers will have Karras, Gressel, and Grissom in the bottom of the 8th inning. See you later. So all he does is put a ribbon on his package and strike out the side. The remarkable Omar Dahl has retired 6 in a row, but at the end of 7.5, 3-2 Montreal. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box, by MGD, cold filtered for a pure beer, by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares, and by Buick. It's all good. We're going to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Expos leading the Dodgers 3-2. Omar Dahl talking to Terry Mulholland, two left-handers. Terry's on the DL for now. Dahl, a brilliant 2 innings, struck out the side, got 6 in a row, but the Dodgers don't need strikeouts, they need runs. Tomokazu Oka has made 108 pitches, and from his reputation, you wouldn't expect him to be around here in the 8th inning. Ball 1. And especially because he has been in trouble 4th inning, 5th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning. But here he is. Karras singled, hit by a pitch, fly to center. Breaking ball, 2-0. Karras' fly ball to center was really a drive into the gap in left center, and Brad Wilkerson, then playing center field, made a great running catch. That would have scored 2 if it had gone through. That's a strike. 2-1. So again, Montreal, a team that has been in 17 one-run games, are in another. Breaking ball, little fly ball. Vladimir was deep, and it's going to land. A great effort for Vidro. Guerrero never had a chance. So a pop fly single for Eric Karras.
Second baseman.
And you know the theory of baseball players, it all evens out. Karras loses a hit on the catch, Now gets a pop fly, and his tourist will run for him.
Your attention, please. For the Dodgers, now running at first base for Karras.
The Dodgers now have 10 hits, but only 2 runs. And his tourist, the tying run, doing some running. Grasolonic hit back to the box, single to left, and hit the first pitch for a home run in the 6th inning. Oh and 1. 3 runs, 7 hits for Montreal, 2 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers. Dodgers trying to overcome their own defensive shortcomings. So Karras done for the night. 0-2 the count to Grasolonic. If you remember the location of the pitch he got, it was above the knees and out over the plate, and I mean he jumped on that. Now he's gotten off-speed breaking balls in the count. 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. His tourist at first. Fouled away. His tourist is not much of a threat to be a base stealer. He runs fast enough, but he doesn't have the knowledge of any of the pitchers, and consequently when you run him, he has not done well. 1 steal, and he's been caught 5 times. 0-2 to Grasolonic. Time. On deck, Marquise Grissom. Jeff Rebele standing near Dave Hansen. And that's popped up. Stevens going back. Vidro coming over. And Stevens makes the play. So Grasolonic pops it up. 1 out in the 8th inning. Say, don't forget, you and your guests can be treated to baseball on an entirely new level in a Dodger Stadium suite. They can accommodate 15 to 80 people. Guaranteed impeccable service and gourmet food. A lot of fun. Give us a call, 323-224-1320, or check our website, Dodgers.com. Marquise Grissom grounded out in the 2nd inning. Got a single in the 4th inning and was doubled up on a line drive back to Oka. And then last time up, doubled. Dodgers left him at 3rd. So his tourist at first, 1 out. His tourist the tying run running for Karras. Oka pretty quick in coming over to first. They say he has a good pickoff move, so his tourist has to be very careful. Grissom late on the fastball. That was 89. 0-1 the count. Marquise 2 for 3. Boy, he had some wonderful years with the Montreal Expos. Meanwhile, Fernando Tatis blowing on his hand down there at 3rd. Cabrera was doing his Napoleon bid earlier. 0-2 the count. Chad Kruder will get ready because now that Karras is out of the ball game, Paul LaDuca will take off the gear and finish up at first base. 3-2 Expos, bottom of the 8th. 0-2 to Marquise Grissom. Foul back. Marquise came up to Montreal way back in 1989, and he played with them through 94. He had a couple of big years, none bigger than 1993 when he hit .298. He had 19 home runs, 95 runs batted in. Marquise, 35 years old, still 0-2. And promptly hit over the head of Tatis down the line. Fair ball. And they're going to run his tourist. Wilkerson will make the throw to the plate. He is in there. And the Dodgers have tied it up on a blooper on the chalk. So Karras got a pop fly single. Grissom gets a bloop double. And I'm sure in the Dodger dugout they're thinking maybe our luck has turned. Just a little looper over the head of Fernando Tatis. And watch that thing land right there on the chalk. So now the Dodgers have a chance for the first time tonight to actually take a lead. And the batter is Iram Boca Chica with Chad Kreuter on deck. That's a strike. So for Marquise Grissom, his third hit cashes in his tourist. 3-3 in the eighth. Big breaking ball. So if nothing else for the moment, at least Kevin Brown is off the hook. Omar Dahl is still the pitcher of record as Beltre talks to Karras. And down goes Boca Chica, so he goes 0 for 4. Now the batter is Chad Kreuter to hit for Dahl and then stay in the game behind the plate.
The Dodgers now batting for Dahl. Number 21, Chad Kreuter.
So a pop fly single by Karras, a pop fly double by Grissom, and the Dodgers have struggled and caught Montreal. The Expos had 2 in the first inning, and the Dodgers have been chasing them all night. Now wait a minute. With a left-hand hitter, Chad Kreuter, Frank Robinson has a left-hander down in the bullpen, Graham Lloyd. He also knows that they can't really bat for Kreuter. So that'll be all for Tomaoka. Very unfortunate here in the 8th inning. Goes out even. And Graham Lloyd will be coming in to face Kreuter, and we'll be back.
Your attention, please. Coming to pitch for the Expos, number 40.
Tomokazu Oka goes out where he can't win. He could either lose or have nothing to do with it. With 4 strikeouts, he nailed Boca Chica twice, and he also got Kevin Brown once, and he got the very first batter he faced, Alex Cora. But now the Dodgers flare him out of the game. A pop fly single by Karras, a bloop double for Grissom, and Graham Lloyd out of Australia coming in. Kreuter, the switch hitter, now turned around right-handed. Ball 1. Hitting left-handed, Chad batting 154. Batting right-handed, 0 for 5. So that's why they made the move. Grissom, meanwhile, a go-ahead run at second base with 2 out in the 8th. And a fly ball into shallow right center. Base hit. Another flare. And the Dodgers take a 4-3 lead. So what an inning. A bloop single by Karras, a bloop double by Grissom, and a 2-out fly ball single by Kreuter. Chan driving in the run.
Number 13.
Chavez way deep. He had no chance. And of course, with 2 out, Grissom was running and Hoppy was sending him in. So the Dodgers take a 4-3 lead, and Cora coming up. So Grissom knocked in the tying run and scores the go-ahead run. That's a strike. Well, let's look ahead. When the Expos come up in the 9th inning, they'll have Cabrera, Tatis, and Chavez or a hitter. And among others on the bench, they have Will Cordero, Michael Barrett, Mike Mordecai. Oh, we'll see. So Graham Lloyd gives up the fly ball single, and the Dodgers take the lead. Fouled away. 0-2. So Oka now is charged with 4 runs and 11 hits. Cora trying to keep it going, batting .276. And there goes Kluter, hit and run fly ball, but Chavez is there, and that'll be that. But the Dodgers perhaps will give Omar Dahl a win, as they came up with 2 fly ball singles and a pop fly double, and we go to the 9th, 4-3 Dodgers. The Dodgers, after getting only 4 hits in the last 2 games against the Mets, get 12 assorted hits, although Montreal would say they are sorted hits. The Dodgers scoring 2 runs on 3 bloopers in the 8th inning, and the big blow furnished by Vladimir Guerrero to get Montreal off on the right foot. Paul LaDuca is now at first base. Chad Kreuter takes over behind the plate. Eric Gagne will go in Kara's spot. And the Canadian will try now to shut down Montreal, and it's Orlando Cabrera. Ball 1. Cabrera grounded out, struck out, and flied out. Ball 2. Gagne with 12 saves and an earned run average of 1.2. A remarkable ratio of 27 strikeouts and only 4 walks. So better than 6-1. That's a strike. 2-1. And looking at Gagne's work in the past, Cabrera 2 for 5, a home run. And that's popped in the air, foul. Kreuter coming back, but it's in the seat. $21,408 taking in the ball game tonight. Hope you'll be with us tomorrow night. Friday night, Tony Armas and Hideo Nomo. Then Saturday night, Carl Pavano and Odalis Perez. And then Sunday afternoon, Bruce Chen and Andy Ashby. Tomorrow night, right here on Fox Sports Net 2. And here's the 2-2 pitch. High fly ball to left field, but it's playable. Boca Chica, 1 away. Don't forget the Southern California Sports Report coming up. For highlights of all of today's sports action, we'll have a Dodger post-game show and a lot more. The Southern California Sports Report tonight after the game. Fernando Tatis robbed of a hit, a diving catch by Sean Green, single to right and stole a base and struck out. 1 out in the 9th, 4-3 Dodgers. The 18th 1-run game involving Montreal. Check swing foul, 0-1. Dodgers have been in 10 and they won 6 of the 10. Another stroke, of course, against Montreal. They have lost 7 straight road games. 0-1 to Tatis. 1 ball, 1 strike. Montreal very unlucky in the 8th inning. The Dodgers very fortunate. And it's 4-3 Dodgers in the 9th. Frank's been through the mill. He knows the good times and the bad. Ball 2. Meanwhile, Omar Dahl sitting alongside of Odalis Perez. Dahl could be 4-0. 2-1 to count. Tatis hitting .298. Two and two. Fouled away down the line, back in the seats. Endy Chavez on deck. Two and two. Fast one with a little sink to it, and down goes Tatis. Omar Dahl struck out the side in the 8th inning. So 4 of the last 5 Montreal hitters have struck out. And now Endy Chavez coming up. Chavez, a young player from Venezuela, 24 years old. Came over from Kansas City. Claimed on waivers. But most of the people in Montreal think he really isn't ready. We'll see. Fouled away. He spent 3 years in rookie ball, 3 years in A ball, and then last year went AA, AAA, and briefly to Kansas City. Endy Chavez, 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Gagne trying to close up shop. Dodger pitching tonight, 9 strikeouts and no walks. Fouled away. So Chavez now right on the edge, 0-2. So Kevin Brown went 6, did not walk anybody. Omar Dahl went 2 and didn't walk anybody. And Gagne now has it 1-2 on Endy Chavez. Tomorrow night, Tony Armas, Hideo Nomo, right here on Fox Sports Net 2. See you later. 5 of the last 6 Montreal batters strike out. The player of the game, the winning pitcher, Omar Dahl, who had to give the club a lift, retiring 6 in a row, striking out the last 3. The Dodgers lucky tonight, and that for any ball club, they take it as a very good sign. Couple of pop flies that dropped in, gave them 2 in the 8th, and then Gagne closed it all up. So once again, the final score, Dodgers 4, Expos 3. For Ross Porter and Rick Monday, this is Vin Scully saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Now for Dodger postgame coverage and all the day's local sports news, let's go to the Southern California Sports Report.